The king of rock and roll returns to the big screen, this time with a poignant biopic worthy of his name. From his childhood in Mississippi to his rise to stardom in Tennessee and his conquering of Las Vegas, Elvis Presley becomes the first rock and roll star and changes the world with his music as we watch his story unfold through the prism of his complicated relationship with his enigmatic manager, Colonel Tom Parker. Before I give you my review of Elvis today, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. If you've seen it, if you're a big Elvis fan, which Elvis movie is your favorite? Let me know anything and everything down there in the comments below. And if you love movies and TV, this is the place to be, so consider clicking that subscribe button so you don't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. And you should know right away that if you're going to watch Elvis, you're going to watch a Baz Luhrmann movie. Baz Luhrmann, as a director, as a storyteller, he can be too much for a lot of people. Understandably so. He has such a unique style. He shows all the glitz and the glamour, but what I really love about this film is that it contrasts that with the grittiness and sourness of this world. This is very much a Baz Luhrmann film through and through, with its high-speed velocity in the way it moves, but also the way he injects modern music, or at least modern artists with their own versions of Elvis's songs. The way they're injected into the film really works for me, but it is very understandable that it will not work for anyone. That being said, Baz Luhrmann has such an irreverent, energized vitality in the way he directs performances, the way he shoots, the way he edits and cross dissolves and fades in and out from shot to shot, that you just can't imagine an Elvis biopic being done by anyone else. It's the type of direction that is as magnetic, as show-stopping as the personality it is portraying on screen. So as much as it can feel too much and larger than life, that's exactly what Elvis Presley himself was. And the film has a ton of loving, touching moments to the person becoming the legend, because the film feels like a grandiose epic, this gigantic journey through this person's life as you watch Elvis the boy become Elvis the man, and Elvis the man become Elvis the legend. Luhrmann crafts this grandiose odyssey that shows this man truly becoming an icon, larger than life. Much like Hanks's character narrates at one point, he watches this man from one moment to the next on stage become a superhero, and that's kind of what we see in the way the film presents this character. It's not just a biopic that is very much by the numbers like we've seen before. This is a man that was immensely influenced by the culture around him at the time, and by proxy, as he became big, as he became himself an icon, a star, he started to influence culture around them. So there's this kind of symbiotic relationship as you cross all these 20 years through the evolution of Elvis, juxtaposed by the evolution of America with all its grand triumphs, but also tragedies. The whole approach to how this story is told is so unique, not only to Baz Luhrmann as a director, it has all his sensibilities raw on screen, but to Elvis himself is poetic that as much as he was larger than life, this film feels larger than him. Is not just telling us or showing us how he influenced America around him. The film is giving poignant commentary on how we view our icons, particularly in those times in the 50s, 60s, on how the people closest to them treat them and see them. It's deconstructing a legend through the prism of the culture of the time that has only gotten more aggressive in that sense to this day, in a way crafting this legendary portrait of Americana tragedy. Because at the end of the day, Elvis is a tragedy, and much like Elvis, the personality, the icon, has this symbiotic relationship with his country, with the influence he has on music and culture, and the way America influences him. There's also this symbiotic relationship between him and his manager, played by Tom Hanks. There are certain perplexing decisions on the script when it comes to Hanks's character, and I'll get to that in a bit, but he plays this character in a deliciously evil way. There's such delight on screen in how he portrays this character, the way he speaks, the way he presents and narrates Elvis to us, the audience, about how he made Elvis who he was, about how he gave Elvis to us as the audience. It's almost like a superhero that was created by this supervillain. In that sense, kind of reminded me of the relationship between David Dunn and Mr. Glass in Unbreakable, about how they both want the same thing, and it works as this kind of cautionary tale about ambition. And it's extremely sad to witness, because as you're watching this man become this beloved star that is just following his dream, becoming larger than life, spreading so much joy in his personal life, and as this music star, you have this lingering shadow over him in these 2.5 hours that just fly by, filled with incredibly touching moments, with dazzling montages throughout the film, and musical performances that are to die for, in great part due to Austin Butler's astonishing performance. My jaw was constantly dropped. He not only speaks like Elvis, he not only sings like Elvis, and he sang every bit of the songs in this film whenever he is on screen, because sometimes the film likes to inject certain classic footage of Elvis himself, but Austin Butler becomes this person on screen. It's the voice, it's the mannerisms, it's the way he looks, it's even the way he kind of breathes almost, the way he twitches himself, the way he jiggles around. That was a big controversy back in the day. He is phenomenal to watch. You cannot take your eyes off of Butler throughout this entire film. And his performance is as captivating as it is authentic. He captures with real nuance the splendor of Elvis, the music star, and the inner pain of Elvis, the man, through all the losses, all the tragedies that he went through in this personal life, and we're able to witness all of that in real earnestness. As much as there is grandiose grandeur in this film, it also feels intimate when it stops and the colors fade a little bit. That's in great credit due to the dazzling cinematography. It's just lavish to see these sets and all these montages and all these stages, and the costumes are straight out of Elvis's repertoire. It's so stunning to just look at. One of the best looking films of the entire year. It very much feels like witnessing an Elvis show on stage. The lights are bright, the costumes are dazzling, the production itself is dazzling with no shortcomings. There are, however, certain kinks in the script that I questioned somewhat. First and foremost, there is one too many montages. The montages themselves are beautifully assembled, magnificently crafted, with energized editing, and this film should win some editing awards, by the way. But there is just jumping around a little bit too much, where we have great moments in the more intimate scenes, more personal moments, where we have Austin Butler giving the performance of his career. He's having his Oscar moment, and then it gets taken away. Then we have another, but then it gets taken away too quickly. It has kind of this greatest showman syndrome, where there are just too many quick moments that impede me from actually loving a movie that I really like. Furthermore, Tom Hanks' performance, as I said, is fantastic. He plays his character exactly as he's supposed to be played, with devilish delight. But the decision of having this character starting off the movie, narrating it, bringing us into the world, into this story, I find questionable. I don't like that he narrates so much of this. Whenever Elvis comes onto the screen, we start to witness his life story in an impartial way. But there are one too many moments where we get taken aback and we see the villain's perspective. And I don't really get behind that, sadly. But those faults do not get in the way of Baz Luhrmann's overall beautifully crafted, epic odyssey of triumph and tragedy. Austin Butler shines with an astonishing performance that illustrates the icon's outer splendor, but also his inner pain. It's electrifying, it's mythical in its approach, emotional and larger than life, much like the legend himself, Elvis Presley. And I'm giving Elvis a B+. But those are only my thoughts on Elvis. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. What is your favorite Baz Luhrmann film? What is your favorite Elvis song? Can't help but falling in love with you for me. Anything and everything down there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to my channel members for always supporting the channel. And until the next one, love each other and love the movies.